okay, I wasn't going to do this way. I was going to do it, well, if I wasn't going to do it this way, obviously I was going to do it a different way. So
well, you're a panicky little... So what university is like is every part of the car has its own manual. So what I mean is, in the automotive industry, when you want to learn something, you can, even if it's just for DIY, even if it's just to do yourself. So what you can do is you can buy a book, Haynes manual, Chilton's, there's a few different ones. One of the actual original service manuals, not what you get in the car, but what the dealerships get. So it tells you the, you know, points gaps and spark plug gaps and all sorts of other stuff. And in more modern cars, well, spark plug gaps still matter, but points don't really matter. So what university is like is that the piston oil rings have their own chapter. The piston has its own chapter, and the cylinder head has its own chapter, but never the twain shall meet. So when you read them, you go, this is linked to this, and this only works, or these together only work because of this. But then you're meant to write about that as its own unique thing, and then that as its own unique thing, and then that as its own unique thing, where a piston ring without a piston is a circle. A piston without rings is just a lump of aluminium. A head with no other bits in it, again, is the same thing. It's just a lump of metal. Without the valve, the valves, the seats, the guides, the springs, the collets, the spring retainers, the lifters, the rockers, the camshafts, everything works together. When you're trying to explain an engine to someone, you don't go, oh, well, it's got a ring, read about a ring. Totally out of context. Everything is linked together. So therefore, everything should be taught together, like in a single book.
So when I say a single book, what I'm sort of getting at is the fact that you had to have like 16 references. So I'm sort of the opinion either the information's good and it will do the job that you need it to do, or the information's not good because I'm going there to learn a specific thing that other people already know. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to come up with a replacement for the theory of relativity. I'm actually going to learn something that other people know, that other people that have been doing for thousands of years. I shouldn't have to do all this other research. Either the information is good or the information isn't good. I'll take it back to the car thing. It's not a car service manual if you need 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 of them to do the job.
There should be one book that has all this stuff in it. But what I've been finding with education is they unlink everything. They spend all this time talking about all these things as if they're not connected, but you can't even write a description of a specific thing without connecting it to a different thing, to the other thing that you then have to write about as a separate entity. Yeah, so the other day I was talking to someone, and instead of being individual thinking or unique thinking, it's institutional thinking. It's think about what we're telling you to think about in the way we're telling you to think about it, rather than gleaning your own meaning from the information that's being presented. Even though I think the way the information is being presented is long-winded and could potentially only be presented that way to give a lot more people jobs for a lot longer period of time.
institutional thinking, I think I may have made that up. I mean, the expression, there's probably some esoteric explanation or some academic explanation for what I'm talking about. So institutionalized, like where someone's locked up or someone's in a specific place for a long period of time, like in prisons. So when people get out of prison, they're so neurologically conditioned to prison that they've become institutionalized, and many of them want to go back. And there's a lot of stuff about religion and things like that. But the problem with academia is they're more concerned with what they're saying than or doing. So like engineers that design shit into cars, that require special tools, that require special knowledge, when what they've done is actually no better than what was previously done. It's just different and necessitates a slightly different skill set to accomplish the exact same task. And the newer way that they're doing it has to be done every few years, fixed. The older way they were doing it, there's still vehicles getting around that have 60-year-old parts in them that are still doing the same job. So I think that's what I mean by institutional thinking, that this is the way that we do it, or this is the way that it's done, or this is the way that we ensure we stay employed, rather than this is the absolute best to accomplish the outcome. So if your outcome is keeping a job or training teachers, then it's fine. If your outcome is getting the best people to educate children in the best way possible, it might not be the ideal that we're talking about.
Not saying the individuals that I'm involved with, but the system in general, because it's for profit, all of it is about making them profit, making things take longer so they can charge more.
I don't know whether my logic is correct. I don't know whether I don't know. I don't.